Well, it's been a while since I've gotten to rant about a Chelsea game, but my God, I'm not even like most of the time I have my laptop like kind of right here offside so that way like the bright light of the laptop is shining on my face, but it's all the way downstairs and it's way too much work for this game for me to go downstairs to bring it up here. Even though I could have just brought it straight up here, I didn't want to go through the hassle because this doesn't deserve a good review. It deserves a freaking rant. What the hell was that game? I mean, this was a run of we were unbeaten. It was an unbeaten run that made me think, you know what? We got a chance to be champions this year. We're some results we're having to grind out. We're having to really work hard and grind out a couple results. There were some moments of hiccups, but we fought back. We did well. Today, hiccups at the beginning and then no fight back. It was legitimately the Leeds game without the fight back to win 3-1. Is essentially what it was. Same as the Leeds game, we started out slow, started out sloppy. Couple mistakes in the back, goal. Now Everton's 1 up. In the Leeds game, we fought back. Today, we said, rub my belly, please. I'm just gonna roll over for you. Just rub my belly. That's all I really want. Just rub my belly, cause we're little puppy dogs. We're not bulldogs. We don't fight back. Rub my belly. What was that? It was a bunch of school kids out there playing. I can only not fault two players today. Reece James, Mason Mount. The only two players that I will say I can't fault them. Reece James, best player on the pitch, in my opinion, for us. Gave it a go. His crossing could have been better, but you know what? He worked hard. He worked his butt off. He actually gave a crap. Mason Mount, he didn't get to do much, but that's not his fault because he's making all these runs. He's trying to make stuff happen. The players around him are not giving him a thing. So he looks ineffective, but God, he worked hard at least. He tried to do something. Everybody else, they gave away the goal, shrugged their shoulders and said, oh well. And then we lost 1-0 in the most boring ass game that I've seen us play this year. Because there have been some games where, yeah, it was kind of boring, but you know what? We gave it a go at times. We gave some chances. We put some chances in. Unlucky on the day. Today we had 3 chances. You had Reece James' free kick in the first half. The shot he took to hit the post right after that free kick, and then Mason Mount's free kick in the second half. Aside from that, hardly created a chance. We hardly did anything in the final third. First of all, Lampard. Actually, no. Before I even start critiquing the team, again, I've talked about this all the season. It's really frustrating whenever you're already playing bad, and then the referee starts helping them out. Jonathan Moss. Oh my God. Just because they fall over does not make it a foul. Like, you need to go back to school for refereeing. Because, wow. One of the most naive displays of refereeing I think I've seen. Even the penalty. Like, yeah, he knocked him over. But, like, also, it's not like it was a straight foul. There's two people colliding in the box. Two people going for the same ball, they collide, one falls over, and because he's the one that got to the ball first, suddenly it's a foul on the other person. That's not how soccer works. I don't know what sport you're thinking that we're in, but soccer is a physical contact sport. So when people bump into each other and one falls over, that's not always a foul. I don't know if you know that, John Moss, but you need to go back to school, buddy, because my God, you call that a lot today. A lot of times where, ball over, referee, he touched my knee. No, it's okay, please, that's a foul. God, again, it's amplified because we lost and we didn't play well, but I'm getting frustrated with the referees this season. A lot of people are complaining about, oh, VAR sucks, VAR is the worst. No, it's the referees that are the problem, and they're getting worse. Every game I watch, it's like My God, even when Chelsea's not playing, I'm watching some of the other games. I'm thinking the refereeing is terrible today. Like the referee pro organization, whatever it is, they need to have a look at themselves and say, this hasn't been good enough. VAR has amplified the problem tenfold. And I mean, the second penalty even, like, should have been easily called offside from the AR. Somehow missed it. Thankfully, VAR stepped in. But then the penalty gets called, and all it is just Calvert-Lewin throws himself in front of Ben Chilwell and then falls over. It's like you can't touch anybody anymore in the box. Because literally, if you touch them and they fall over, it's going to be given. That's not what a physical contact sport is. And it's just every week, I'm seeing something similar. Seeing something. It's happening all over the pitch, too. Not even just in the box. You touch somebody, they fall over, it's being given as a foul. Like, it's so easy to get a foul called for you these days. So anyways, yeah, refereeing was terrible today, but not going to blame them for the result. We should play better. But again, it just gets frustrating whenever you're already playing bad and then referees are bad too. Frank Lampard, what are you doing with the lineup today? Like, we don't have any wings. Why are you still going with the same lineup that we normally go with when we have wings? Werner, Havertz, I understand that you think they are very versatile players. They're not. They're not. I'm sorry. They're not. Do they have the potential to be great players? Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying that you just write them off like, Kepa should have already been written off several times. No, give them the chance. Give them a chance to keep growing in the league as well because it's a different league. But they're not wings. And in this system, this 4-3-3, you need wings. Without Ziyech, without Pulisic, without Hudson-Odoi, it's not as effective. Because now you're relying on your fullbacks to be the ones that are providing. And I'm sorry, but Chilwell and James's crosses have not been good enough. So switch the system. Change to a system that doesn't require you to have wings. But this system, this 4-3-3, you need wings. And Havertz and Werner are not. So that's on Lampard. And then his subs, you bring on Abraham, okay, you bring on another striker. Fantastic. Doesn't really change too much, though, because he and Havertz are both in a bad rut right now. And then Gilmore comes on for Kovacic. Okay. It's a little late for him to grow into the game now, like less than 10 minutes left. So, and then not even a third sub. So I understand, no Pulisic, no Ziyech, no Hudson-Odoi. That's frustrating to deal with. That's difficult to deal with. But you got to change your system to fit the players that you have. The 4-3-3 doesn't work without a wing. So change it up. Do something different. That should be easily figured out. Go to wingbacks. Go to a back three if you need to. But to just stick with this same formation when you're lacking the players to make certain positions work, not surprised we didn't get our attack going very well. And especially, again, I'm not saying kill confidence. I'm not saying, throw Havertz to oblivion. But he's on a bad run of form. And I'm sorry, but most young players don't just play themselves back into form. That doesn't happen. You got to give them a chance to take a break, maybe get their legs back at training, work on it at training, and then once they've shown themselves to be effective, that's what he did with Pulisic. When Pulisic came in, he had a couple good games, but he wasn't really quite there yet. Gave him some time off the bench, gave him some time to work on it in training, and then when he started playing him, phenomenal player. Because he had time to grow that confidence, to work on it, to get better, to prove himself. You didn't just throw him out there and say, all right, go at it. Oh, you're not playing well? It's fine. Go at it next game. Oh, you're still not playing well? Try again next game. That's not how that works. You don't just keep playing players who are not playing well. I just don't understand that. So many people talk about, you don't want to just bench him because that kills his confidence. So it builds his confidence whenever he goes out there and gives the ball away 10 times every game? Whenever he keeps losing possession? Whenever he keeps giving away the ball? That's supposed to build his confidence? That's a dumb argument for me. So Lampard got it wrong today, again. As far as the individuals go, I already talked about the two players that I thought don't deserve criticism. Everybody else, though, let's talk about it. Mendy, 2 games in a row now that he has just come flying out and gotten beat. And again, I still think that it was soft. I still think it's a coming together, so there shouldn't be a penalty there. But still, why are you there? It's not like he beat Silva. Silva was still there. You come rushing in to try to fix it, and you make the situation worse. I don't get that. I don't get that decision. And he did the same thing last week. You came rushing out, and you get beat. You should have learned from that last week, and instead you made the same mistake again today. Now, granted, he didn't do too much worse after that. It's not like he made any mistakes, but also Everton kind of sat back and just looked to counter, so they didn't get a whole lot of chances after that. But still, that one mistake now leads to the goal. So, you got to learn from your mistakes. Don't be Kepa, who never learned from his mistakes and kept making the same mistakes. So you got to learn. You got to figure out, all right, I can't just come rushing out. Let me communicate with my defense. Let me figure out what's going on. If he's still got it, I'll stay. I might step out a little bit, close down the angle a little bit more, but I'm not going to come rushing out to try to get the ball and end up, either missing all of it together or bumping into the striker to give him a chance to go down and win a penalty. So that was bad. Back line, Chilwell, probably his worst game, honestly. Because he's not been doing well on the attack. I've talked about that. I've talked about how his crosses have not been as good. His connection, playing off of people has just not been as good as when he first started. Defensively today, he was awful. I mean, Iwobi just essentially ran him to death. I've not seen him play that poorly defensively before today. So, yeah. Why did we go get Chilwell? Why did we spend all this money? Because he was going to not only give us more on the attack, but also give us more defensively than both Emerson and Alonso. Okay, well, he was giving us more defensively, and then he didn't today. It's a constant downward spiral of, okay, you start out flying high, goals, assists, nothing. He's at least defending well, clean sheets. Okay, now you're giving up a couple goals. Okay, now you're just getting embarrassed by Alex Iwobi. Bottom of the barrel now. You can't go much lower than his performance today. So it's just been constantly downward. And I'll go ahead and just tie in Zuma and Silva for this too. Because both of them, they've been playing well, they've been doing well, clean sheets, performing well. Zuma's getting goals. Silva's just constantly no threats to our defense. Past couple games, just downward, and then you get to today. And, I mean, it's like we just lost all sense of how to defend. It started last week against Leeds. There started to be this kind of a hiccup, that we saw against, West Brom and Southampton. We're just kind of like, okay, what's going on? This lack of organization, lack of vision of what's going on, lack of effort. It just happened out of nowhere. All of a sudden, we just gave up an easy goal, and it was like we didn't even know how to defend anymore. Just watching them play through us so easily. I'm just thinking, okay, what just happened? We've been defending so well. What just happened? And then you get to today, and not only do we give up early chances again and not grow into the game again, and then we give up the goal again, and then we don't even get better after that. With Leeds, we gave up that goal, and then, okay, we started picking it up. Defensively started picking it up. Okay, they hardly had a chance second half. Today, it kept getting worse. Defensively, we kept diving in. We kept getting drawn into challenges we didn't need to. Kept getting turned so easily. It was just so easy to play against us today. I don't think Everton was ever really that worried about playing us. And that's not how it should be. We should... a lot of talk about us challenging for the title. Today was not a title challenger performance. Today was I hope we make Champions League performance. That's not good enough. And it starts defensively. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what's been going on with the defensive coaching. I don't know what's been happening. But my God, something needs to change. Today needs to be the wake up call to say, all right, look, we've been getting lax, we've been getting lazy. Let's step it back up. Because that was embarrassing to watch today. How many good chances they created, how many times that they easily played out of our pressure. It was like we weren't defending as a team anymore. We were just, oh, chase the ball, chase the ball, oh, chase the ball, chase the ball. And they're just like, oh, okay, well, if you're just going to chase, I'm just going to pass around you. And your teammates aren't doing anything, so yeah, it's going to be easy. So Reece James, I will say, I mean, it's not like he had a perfect game. But the one reason why I say that I'm not going to criticize him today is because, like I said, he worked his butt off. He defensively, he was challenged a lot today because we didn't really help him. There were a lot of times when he got forward and then we just gave the ball away and then allowed them to counterattack, and Reece James is having to do both sides of it. And for the most part, he kept Richarlison quiet. And on the attack, he actually provided some chances and opportunities for us. Now his crossing, again, still needs some work. Still a lot of just dumped balls hoping for the best without actually finding a target. But hey, the work ethic from him today was phenomenal. So, Conte. Who switched Conte and Pogba today? Because watching him play, I'm just like, God, this is not Conte. This reminds me of like Pogba. Like that just naive diving into challenges, getting turned easily. Just, I don't know, like, what the hell? What the hell? Really? This was not a Conte performance today. Like, if you compare Conte even in the Leeds game where we struggled at the beginning, if you watch him in that game, compare him to this game, two completely different players. So I think they switched him. I think somehow this is not the real Conte. I'm going to go ahead and put on my tinfoil cap. I think aliens abducted the real Conte. This was like a replacement Conte that we had put in the basement in case somebody did come to try to steal Conte. And so we put him out there thinking like, oh, nobody will notice. But then his performance, you can tell this isn't the real Conte. So we got to go find out who stole the real Conte. I'll let you know if I have any leads. My best thought process is that probably the Russians, because the Russians are responsible for everything. So, yeah, we'll find Conte. We'll get him back for the next game because, yeah, this fake Conte is not good enough. Mount, again, like I said, a lot of people are probably going to criticize him because, yeah, he didn't have a great game today. But I'm watching and I'm thinking he's trying. At least he's trying to make stuff happen. He's working hard to win the ball back. Now, sometimes that does lead to some moments where he's getting turned too easily because he goes flying in to try to win it back. But at the same time, I know not really a defensive-minded player, but it does cause pressure, which if the teammates around him are working off of him and going to pressure after he initiates the first pressure, then that pass is leading to another player stepping to meet the pass. But instead, whenever it's just Mount going to pressure, the pass happens, and then that player just turns and has plenty of time to run because nobody else is helping him out. So I thought just on both sides of the ball, he's trying to make stuff happen on the ball. Nobody's really making runs for him. If they are making runs, they're not the right runs. Like they're all running away from him instead of checking to and giving him an option. So in my opinion, I thought he worked his butt off. He tried as much as he could, but he just was not helped by the players around him. And it unfortunately made it look like he didn't have a good game. Kovacic, though, typically a player that's just very consistently doing his job well, keeping possession in the midfield, doing well to turn out of possession and make sure that we keep it, or not turn out of possession, turn out of pressure, keep possession, and then just move the ball up the field. Today it was like, I don't know, did somebody put weights on his ankles? Because his turn and go, normally it's turn, go. Today it was turn, go. And it's too slow. That acceleration normally is so quick from him, but today it was like that initial go was gone. And so all these, this Everton player gets turned, but then can easily catch back up to him because he hasn't taken off. And so there were a lot of times where it just felt like he was so slow in possession that his pass ends up being a pass under pressure and it's not good enough. So, yeah, I don't know what was going on with him today, but he seemed a lot slower than I'm used to seeing him play. Havertz, another terrible game from him. And like I said before, I don't understand the concept of keep playing a player who's not in form and hope that he gets back into form. Because I don't see that ever working. I hardly ever see a player who just playing absolutely terribly just continue to get minutes, continue to get time, and then eventually just all of a sudden turns it around and he's A-okay. I've never seen that before. Maybe it happens occasionally. I've never personally seen it. Most of the time what it takes is you just got to give him a break. You got to break up this bad run, take him off the field, put him on the bench, give him some substitute appearances, let him prove himself in training. Once he's done that, get him back out there, and then boom, he's ready to go. But to just keep playing him, even though he's not giving us anything, I mean, the amount of misplaced passes today. I mean, I can think of at least 4 or 5 times in the first half alone where he needs to make a pass to that guy. Most of the time it was like James or Kovacic. The players on that right side of the field. All he has to do is make that pass. And it's like 10 yards away. And he puts it 5 yards. And so now they're having to chase to the ball and beat the defender to it, which then either leads up to Everton gets the ball, or we now have to play under pressure and it has to go back to our defense again. I don't know. It's like he just couldn't get his meter right or something. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he still is recovering. Maybe he's still just not quite fully there yet. But watching him play today, I'm thinking he still needs to get better. He still needs time to improve because it's not good right now. And then Werner, on the other side, again, he's another one, kind of in a bad run of form. Part of it is, he's not really a wing player. He's better when he's up top. But at the same time, there's got to be more to his game than just finishing, right? And that's what it feels like is he's not scoring, so it doesn't feel like he's effective. And that's not how it should be, because obviously, I'll get to Giroud, but most of the time, even if Giroud's not scoring, it still feels like he's involved. It still feels like he's doing something productive for the team. He's creating chances. He's trying to make stuff happen. So even if he's not scoring, there's still games where he doesn't score, doesn't assist, but I still think he played well because he gave us a lot of options. He gave us a lot of opportunities, created chances. With Werner, if he's not scoring or assisting, I don't see him doing much else. And there were several moments today where I'm just thinking, oh yeah, Werner's out there. Because all of a sudden he'll just pop up with the ball and then give it away. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he was playing. Because he didn't do anything for the past 10 minutes. He's just not involved. I did remember there was a time in I think the first half where he started checking back in the midfield to receive it. I'm just thinking that should be Giroud doing that, and then you look to go long. But I don't know. It's like they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out how to make that pairing work up top. So I don't know what's going on with Werner, but again, he's got to add more to his game. And especially if you are going to put him up there with Giroud, they should be working off of each other. But instead it's like they don't really figure that out. They're still both doing their own thing. Werner is still just trying to make things work where he's just running at people with the ball, and then Giroud is trying to receive it and then make things happen, flicking it 1-2 with players, and Werner's not making the run for him. So it's like they just don't work well together, which is weird because you would think Giroud, being the target man, could flick it on to Werner, who's typically the guy that gets in behind the defense. That should work really well, but I don't know, are they just not figuring it out? Did it just not work today? Whatever the case, Werner had another, again, just poor performance. And then Giroud, in my opinion, had a poor performance today. And a couple times it was just because, again, I don't feel like he or Werner or Havertz are combining very well. Because there were times whenever it would be there, it would be on, the ball gets played into him, and he looks to flick it, but then they've made a run that didn't work. But there were a lot of times where I just felt like he was getting too caught up in trying to battle with the defender rather than trying to win the ball. And he's not typically that type of player. You think about like Costa. Costa was the type of striker that he would just essentially bully the defender. He was more interested in picking a fight with the defender than he was in receiving the ball. So there were times when that would get frustrating. With Giroud, I'm not used to seeing that. With Giroud, I'm used to seeing him. The defender almost doesn't even matter because he just easily beats him to the ball. But today it was like he was so caught up in that battle. He was so caught up in like trying to tug and pull, and he felt like he was being pulled, so he didn't try for it. I'm like, that's not your game. That's not typically the type of striker you are. So why are you doing that today? Because there were several moments where I just felt like, he wasn't giving us anything because he was so busy complaining to the referee. That's, again, he's just not that type of player normally. So why was it today that he was? Now, the one thing I will grant, aside from the fact that he did try to make some things happen and it didn't work because of the players around him, I will also say that, again, the crossing today was not the best. So there were several moments where he's in the box, he's ready to meet it, but then the cross comes in and it's either too long or it's not to him, or even if it is to him, it's like essentially it's a lofted ball that now he has to put power behind. And the strikers, I mean, not the strikers, the defenders were doing a good job of being in his way. So it's really hard whenever it's a floated cross. It's already hard to put power behind that to beat the keeper. But whenever you have to put power behind it and you've got two defenders on you, that's very difficult. So I will grant him the crossing today didn't really it didn't meet the standard to help him out as a striker who's typically very good with cross balls. But I felt like today, again, normally he gives us a lot more. Normally he does make things happen. But it just felt like there were too many moments where it's either not coming off, like it's a bad pass, or the players around him aren't really reading the same situation that he is, like they're not connecting well, or like I said, he's too busy focused on trying to win a foul. I don't know. It was not a good game from him today. And then Tammy came on, and it just didn't show us much of anything. Like, had a couple runs in that didn't lead to anything, and I don't know. You have three strikers on the field, and I think between the three of them, they created 2 chances, maybe. No shots on target, I don't think. But yeah, we have 3 strikers on the field, and none of them can create a chance. That's kind of a problem. And then Gilmore came on for Kovacic, and I mean, again, it came on late, so not a whole lot of time to get grown into the game. But I mean, he's a good player, but he's still coming back from that injury, and he worked his butt off in the midweek, so I'm sure he's still kind of recovering from that as well. So I don't know. Again, I've not had a reason to rant about this season. We've had a couple iffy performances. Like, we've not been playing like 100% perfect in this unbeaten run. But even when we had these games where we had a couple of struggling moments, or we had moments where we just kind of turned off for a little bit, there were still a lot of bright points to look at too. There were a lot of positive notes to be taking from these games. Today, I just didn't see much of anything to take positively from this game. Like, Everton did their job fine, but we didn't cause them any trouble. We didn't do our job, so we made their job very easy. And in my opinion, that's not good enough. Like I said, we should be title contenders. We should be a team that's looking to push and create opportunities for ourselves, even when we're up against it. When we give up that early goal and we're facing a team like Everton that have really done well to build themselves defensively over the past few games, we should still be a team that, if we lose 1-0, it should be because we created all these chances, but Pickford was having a fantastic game, or the defenders were making clearances off the line, or we just kept hitting the post and it was one of those unlucky games. It should not be because we created 3 chances that were good, 1 that was a save and 2 that were off the post, and then that was it. Because it was slow, it was boring. when we got in the final third, it felt like we couldn't complete more than 2 passes. It'd be 1 pass, 2 pass, giveaway. And it's not good enough. It's not even close to good enough, especially considering where we've been, how well we've been playing. To have this performance, it's just like, what happened? Like, who got mad at who dropped their attitude, you know, who's I don't even know. I can't even think of a good like story because I'm like so frustrated with this. Like there's got to be something going on behind the scenes, behind closed doors that we don't know about to have caused this piss poor performance. Because that's just to fall apart like that so quickly after you had a great game against Leeds where you turned around that early struggle and you made it happen and you won 3-1, and then you go to Krasnodar. Most of the players, I yeah, I don't think 2 players. I'm pretty sure because I'm pretty sure. Okay, no, Kovacic. No, Havertz and Werner, I think, were the only two to play in the mid or to start in the midweek, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to. I don't really remember now. No. Havertz started up top. Kovacic, I think, started in the midfield. Yeah. Honestly, my point is, had a good game against Leeds. Had a game midweek where most of these players didn't feature, but we still played decently enough. And then you come into this game and it's like we weren't even close to the team that we've been all year. Like I even thought we played better in the Liverpool game and we were down to 10 men, but at least we gave a go. At least we had a chance. We gave an effort. Today it just felt like we didn't care. It just felt like we were so boring to watch and so slow in the build up, and we got in the final thirds like nobody's really making runs for each other, and we're all defending, just one person go and then they pass it away from him so then the next person will go. It's just all reactionary, and God, it's been a while since I've been this frustrated to watch, like back to last season. So I hope this is kind of a kick in the butt because we got a lot of games coming, and Liverpool, Tottenham, they're gonna win tomorrow. That's just the fact of it. Like they're not gonna drop a whole lot of points from here on out, so we can't be giving away games like this. I don't care that Everton's having a pretty good season. We should still be beating them. We should be better than them. And today, they did their job. We didn't show up. So, anyways, I realized this was a long review. I apologize, but I had to rant, had to get it off my chest because it was pretty frustrating to watch. So, anyways, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. See you guys at the next one. Hopefully, better one. Peace out.